Okay guys, so EA went ahead and dropped the Team of the Year promo today, so let's go over all of the champions and LTDs that dropped and let you guys know which cards are actually worth buying in Madden 25. So starting out first, we've got middle linebacker 97 overall Bobby Wagner right here. Attributes look decent on him: 96 speed, 97 block shed, 99 hit power, just to highlight a few. But if we go ahead and look at him on the auction house as far as his price goes, he's going to be about 600k, and for what you're getting from him, I mean, he's not a bad option, but honestly it's kind of hard to justify going out and spending 600k on Bobby Wagner. But looking at his abilities, 1 AP for secure tackler, unfakeable, on the ball, out my way, strip specialist, reach elite, goal line stuffs, pick artist actually he gets for 0, run stopper for 1, no outsiders, flat zone KO, demoralizer, adrenaline rush, BOGO, extra credit, deflator, mid zone KO, crusher, speedster, lurker, outmatched, extra pop, lurk artist for 0, lumberjack for 1, and form tackler. Then in this second bucket, he gets all of those same abilities, but all for 1 discounted less. So if he had it for 0, then he gets it for still for 0. If he had it for 1, he gets it for 0, except for mid zone KO. And I believe that there was another ability in here that he also did not get discounted, but it looks like he actually does. So I guess I am completely wrong, so ignore me. But 1 AP for mid zone and lurk artist right there, which you would probably run on him. But in this last bucket here, he can actually get mid zone for 0. So you'd be able to run a 0 AP, secure tackler, mid zone KO, and lurk artist middle linebacker, which is not bad. But honestly, for his price, I would honestly recommend going out and getting a Radnički, because if you go ahead and look at this card right here, this Bobby Wagner, he's 91 change of direction, and if you're going to be using him as a user, Radnički is going to be 6 inches taller. I believe Radnički is 6'6" at the lowest anyways. He's 6'4", so he's at least 4 inches taller, and is going to be giving you better change of direction and user ability at your middle linebacker spot. So Bobby Wagner, just because of the cards that are in the game currently, I would say is not worth buying, at least at that 600k price point. Moving on to Khalil Mack, even though as you can see he is a lot cheaper, when we go ahead and look at his price, he's like under 500k for him. There is a reason for it. Power rusher right here, 97 overall, 95 speed, 92 excel, 98 block shed, 99 power move, and 92 finesse move, which is not bad. But the only problem with him is going to be that he's not getting what a lot of people are running currently on their defensive lineman, because that's where you would have him. You would have him as an edge rusher, and a lot of people with their edge rushers currently in the game are running X Factor abilities that start on with the combine cards, such as Danielle Hunter. Micah Parsons is a very, very expensive one, but like Amari Barno is just to name another. But if we look at his abilities too, he doesn't get really great discounts here in these last 2 buckets. He gets edge threat elite for 3, under pressure for 2, run stopper for 0, and defensive rally for 1. But if we even look at this extra discounted bucket, he gets secure tackler for 0, mid zone KO for 1, which I don't even think he hits the zone threshold there. So overall, his abilities on him are just not great. Now, if you're a Chargers, Bears, or Raiders teamer, then maybe he'll be able to be good enough to play on your team. But Khalil Mack, even for the lowered price of 450-ish K, I still think is not worth buying. Now, next is Lamar Jackson, and I got to be honest with you guys, this card's going to cost you about 600 plus K to get right now. He's 621k. I will tell you off the rip, as far as I've seen, he is not QB1, but he does get a really good ability stack. So if we go ahead and look, he could get Gunslinger here in this first slot for 2, Red Zone Deadeye for 1, Lofting Deadeye for 1, or Conductor for 1. In this second bucket, he gets all of those discounted down another 1. So Gunslinger for 1, Lofting Deadeye for 0, Conductor for 0 would probably be the most used abilities there. And then if we look at his last 2 buckets right here, he'll get Evasive for 1, Gunslinger for 0, Running Gun for 2, and Master Tack for 2. So what you could do is you could run 0 AP Gunslinger on him, 2 AP Master Tack, and then run another ability here in this slot. But you're basically going to get all that you need for 2 AP on him, which is absolutely amazing at ability stack. But currently this Don Terry Poe quarterback that they dropped the out of position has the Baker Mayfield release, which is actually the best release in the game on a quarterback, and he has pretty good hot route animations, which is actually insane that we now have a quarterback who is 6'3", 300 plus pounds, actually being better than Lamar Jackson. But Lamar Jackson Jackson also just has a very, unless they have fixed it yet, by the time I post this, they have not. Lamar Jackson has terrible hot route animations. He, like, every single time he goes a hot route, he like grabs the back towel that he has hanging out of his back pocket. It's basically his ass towel, basically. He grabs it, and it's like the most annoyingly slow animation ever, and it just gets really frustrating to use, but they could have fixed it by now, so if they have, then maybe he'd be worth it. But right now, for that price, I would go ahead, get you a Don Terry Poe, or get you a Bo Nix, get you extra abilities for that same cost. Right here is a card that you can see. Actually, you may not actually be able to see exactly, but owned. I have currently bought this Jordan Mailata card. He's the best tackle in the game currently, at least from the way I see it. He's going to be a 97 overall, coming in with 95 strength, 98 pass block, 98 run block, 6'8", 365, so he's just an absolute behemoth out there. But the big thing on him is his discounted abilities are insane, and that's the same way with a lot of these offensive linemen that they drop for the Team of the Year program. Is going to be, he can get Omniscient for 1, but actually in the second slot he can get it for 0, which that's going to combine Identifier and then whichever ability it is that lets you see the 3rd and 4th down blitzers, which could definitely be huge, especially if you're running somebody running the loot blitz or insane edge pressure. You'll be able to see where they are and hopefully be able to pick them up. But he actually, in these last 3 slots right here, or the last 2 slots, my apologies, can get edge protector for 1, linchpin for 1, all day for 0, and post up for 0. So you could run a combination of 0 AP all day, 0 AP omniscient, and 0 AP pass protector if you wanted to, or you could then run a 1 AP edge protector. It's just completely up to you, or 0 AP edge protector right here, I should have said, and even throw in a nasty streak if you feel like. So Jordan Mailata, his price, he's around that 600k mark. He is absolutely worth it because he's going to be an end game offensive lineman for you. Next, and I believe the cheapest, maybe Cavante Turpin, maybe a little bit cheaper, but Team of the Year card that dropped is going to be this Chop Robinson, and there's a reason why he's so cheap. If we look at his stats and his attributes, he's not terrible, but 94 speed, 96 excel, 96 finesse move, 97 power move, 91 finesse move, so he's all 90 plus on all of the core pass rushing stats, but the speed is just not the greatest compared to what we currently have, especially for an outside linebacker. But if you're running a Dolphins theme team, he could be pretty good for you there. Discounted ability wise, going to be very similar to what we just saw in Khalil Mack, but 0 AP secure protector, unfakeable on the ball, out my way, strip specialist, reach elite, goal line stuff, run stopper, pick artist, no outsiders, flat zone KO, demoralizer, adrenaline rush, BOGO, extra credit, deflator, 1 AP mid zone, which I don't think he hits the zone coverage threshold there, but crusher for 1 AP, speedster, lurker, outmatch, form tackler, extra pop, and lumberjack. And then his last 2 discounted slots, he's going to be getting no outsiders for 0, unfakeable for 0, or unfakeable for 1, my apologies, edge threat for 1, and extra credit for 1. So the discounted abilities on him are just not great. Now you can run a stack of 1 AP for edge threat and no outsiders, which is not terrible. And that's the thing with a lot of these cards, even though they're like not worth it, doesn't mean that they're not great cards. I mean, they are 97 overalls, and we're getting closer and closer to the end game as we speak, but these cards are just not worth it for their current price and their status as far as how good they are in their current position, because I think there are just certain cards better. So Chop Robinson, I would say, is not worth buying. Next, we've got defensive tackle Chris Jones right here, which we do already have a few really good defensive tackles in the game, and it's really hard to justify buying a defensive tackle because, one, they're slow. As you can see, he's only an 88 speed compared to when a lot of people are running defensive linemen on the field, unless they're running a 4-down lineman set. If they're running 3, which is the most common, people running nickel, people running dime, things like that, their defensive tackle, they want to be as fast as possible, and a lot of people just put in a left or a right end there. So Chris Jones off rip, in my opinion, is just not worth it based off of that alone. But if you fall into the category of running 4-down lineman, he could be. 88 speed right here on him, 95 excel, 99 block shed, 97 power move, 95 finesse move, which it's great right there. But also the same thing that we talked about when we were looking at the other lineman or other defensive lineman that we saw. Or actually, I don't even think defensive lineman, but just pass rusher and Khalil Mack and Chop Robinson, they are not going to be getting those insane starting on X factors that you'll see with a lot of your pass rushers, which right now you could currently run a Daniil Hunter. He's a left end, run him at defensive tackle, and he's going to have Colossus on him, which makes him the best defensive lineman in the game, or at least one of the top 3. But coming in here for his 0 AP ability bucket, he'll get secure tackler, unfakeable, reach elite, goal line stuff, out my way, strip specialist, Mr. Big Stop, adrenaline rush, run stopper, extra credit, no outsiders, speedster, instant rebate, unpredictable, demoralizer, interior threat for 1, deflator for 0, crusher for 1, extra pop for 0, and form tackler for 0. And then in his custom buckets, he's going to be able to actually get inside stuff for 0, run stopper for 1, BOGO for 1, and interior threat for 1. So if it's worth it to you to run an inside stuff and a secure tackler, or an inside stuff and an unfakeable, then maybe I could hear you out on why he would be worth it. But just because of his attributes, coupled with those abilities not being insane as far as him getting a really good X factor, I would say Chris Jones is not worth picking up. Now moving on to another team of the year offensive lineman, it's going to be Chris Lindstrom right here. 94 strength, 96 pass block, and a 97 run block, 6'3", 307. So he's a decently good size offensive lineman, but he is a guard after all, so it's not like you're expecting big size out of him. And his 0 AP bucket, he's going to get Puller Elite, Lifeguard, Natural Talent, Run Protector, Pass Protector, All Day, Linchpin, and I do not know, because I think there were one of these cards that did not hit the awareness threshold. It looks like he does actually, so he would also be able to get 0 AP Omniscience. He could be a good tactical downgrade from that Kyle Long card, even though Kyle Long is going to upgrade you the rest of your offensive linemen in terms of their speed and their agility. Chris Lindstrom, I mean, if you aren't worried about that in your offensive lineman, could be able to get the job done, absolutely. For whatever reason, it's actually kind of funny because Threat Detector is that other ability that is coupled with Identifier to make the Omniscient ability, and it actually costs him 3 AP in this final slot to get it, when you actually could just get Omniscient, which is the same thing and then some, for 0 AP in this slot. It's just funny the way EA does things sometimes. But in his last 2 slots, he'll get Puller Elite for 0, Natural Talent for 1, Lifeguard for 1, and like we talked about, Threat Detector for 3. And if we go ahead and look at his pricing right now, it's going to currently cost you a little under 400k probably to go ahead and buy this. Now, he's probably the worst lineman that they dropped out of this whole set, but he's still decent. And for 400k, if you're looking for one of the top 3 right guards in the game, probably at least somebody that will definitely be able to get you until we start getting just insane 0 AP abilities on offensive linemen, I would say that Chris Lindstrom is worth it for that cheap of a price. Next is going to be Justin Jefferson, wide receiver for the Minnesota Vikings. 97 speed, 96 jumping on him, 96 catch. All the route running is going to be 95 plus, 6'1", 195. I'm still not sure, but if you guys do remember, the other unstoppable card that they dropped of him earlier in the year had this really annoying glitch in his route running. Whenever he ran a breaking route, whether it was in breaking or out breaking, he did like this little stutter step, and it would cause you to like overthrow it, or it would mess up the timing on your routes when you're throwing to him. But if we look at his abilities, mid and elite, mid out elite, run off elite, bulldozer, slot apprentice, outside apprentice, arm bar, jukebox, spin cycle, backlash, matchup nightmare, and grab and go, all for 0 AP. Then if we look at this bucket right here, his last one, which it's really unfortunate in this one because I do not see it anywhere unless I'm missing it. Oh, sorry. In his next bucket over, he actually does get human joystick for 0, which is pretty nice there. But then in his last bucket, he'll get medium route, mid and elite, my apologies, for 0, route tech for 2, short out elite for 1, and double me for 2. So if you're going to want to be throwing up those aggressive catches, you can actually have it as a passive ability when this is usually an X factor, and it's going to cost you 2 AP. So if you have the 2 AP to spare, maybe he would be worth picking up. But honestly, for the receivers that we have in the game, you can honestly go out and buy those 93 overall combine receivers, upgrade Kurt Benkert up all the way, at not even necessarily all the way to his 96, but I believe it's 93 is the last slot before you have to add in that token for him, and you're going to get all of those guys boosted +1 speed, especially if you add in that strategy item. And honestly, I have all 99 speed NFL combine wide receivers on my team just because they're cheap. They're going to be at most 200k if they ever hop back up in price, so they're going to be 400k cheaper and give you 99% of what Justin Jefferson will give you. So I would say he is not worth picking up in the game right now. Next, one of the best cards that actually dropped today is going to be this Xavier McKinney free safety. He's going to be a 97 overall, 97 speed, 97 excel, 95 man coverage, 98 zone coverage, 95 hit power. He is only 6 foot tall, which could be kind of frustrating sometimes just because of another safety that we're going to talk about in a little bit. In his 0 AP slot right here, he's going to get on the ball for 0, chuck out for 0, tip drill for 0, medium route KO for 1, unfakeable for 0, outmatch for 0, mid zone KO for 1, flat zone KO for 0, spin cycle for 0, out Out My Way, Pick Artist, Jukebox, Stonewall, Goal Line Stuff, Deflator, Extra Pop, and Form Tackler, all for 0 AP. Then in this next slot over, it's going to be more of the same. It's pretty much identical here. He's not really going to get any other extra discounts in there. It's just going to be another bucket there that you can add. Next is going to be Enforcer for 1 in his last 2 buckets, Pick Artist for 1, Deep End Zone for 1, and Secure Tackler for 1. So the abilities right there on him are not insanely great, but you can still run with the main ability grouping is that a lot of people run, which is Pick Artist for 0 and Mid Zone KO for 1. So he's going to be a 1 AP safety out there, and for his price, because I do not believe he was terribly priced. Yeah, he's dropping a little bit below 600k, and I can understand why. But if you take a look at some of those combine DBs, they could also be a little bit more worth buying and putting on your team, since they will get the same ability stack as Xavier McKinney, and they're going to save you about 300 to 400k. So honestly, just because of another card that they dropped in this set today, I'm going to say that that safety right there, Xavier McKinney, is not worth picking up in Madden 25. Next, we're back to the offensive lineman, guys. Right here, we got 97 overall Creed Humphrey, center for the Kansas City Chiefs, 95 strength, 97 pass block, and a 96 run block right there. So that's pretty good on him. For his discounted ability buckets, though, he's going to get for 1 AP, Polar Elite, Lifeguard, Natural Talent, Run Protector, Pass Protector, All Day, Linchpin, or Omniscient. In this next bucket, he's going to get Polar Elite for 0, Lifeguard for 0, Natural Talent for 0, Run Protector for 0, Pass Protector, All Day, Linchpin, and Omniscient, all for 0 AP right there. Then in his last 2 buckets, it'll be Post Up for 1, Linchpin for 0, Identifier for 1, and then Secure Protector for 2, which Secure Protector, judging by the ability cost, is going to definitely probably be confirmed as the best pass protecting ability in the game. So until we start getting cards that have 0 AP Secure Protector, this card could absolutely be worth it and be on your team. But if we go ahead and look at his price, because we don't want to spend insane on him, he's going to be about 600k. So if you could honestly scoop this card for around 500k or lower, if these prices start to drop, I would say that Creed Humphrey's worth it. Right now, 600k is a little bit too rich for my blood, but I would just keep an eye out on Creed Humphrey, definitely stats wise and abilities wise, until we start getting like triple 0 AP ability buckets on all offensive linemen. I would say that he's going to definitely be a good one to have on your team. Next is going to be Patrick Surtain, cornerback for the Denver Broncos right here, defensive player of the year, 97 speed, 95 acceleration, 97 man coverage, 97 zone coverage, 6'2" right there on this card. For his 0 AP bucket, he's going to get on the ball, chuck out, tip drill, medium route KO, unfakeable, outmatched, mid zone KO for 1, not for 0, 1, flat zone KO for 0, spin cycle, out my way, pick artist, jukebox, stonewall, extra pop, and form tackler, all for 0 AP there on him. Same thing in this second bucket right here. It's just an additional bucket is all. 0 AP Secure Tackler in there, like I said, and 1 AP Mid Zone. Then in his last buckets, he's going to get 1 AP Pick Artist, 1 AP Medium Route KO, 0 AP Mid Zone right here on him, and Deep Route KO for 2. So what you could run on him is going to be a 0 AP Mid Zone and a 0 AP Pick Artist player right there. And he's going to be 6'2", so he's going to be tall and be able to play every single ball on the field. And he's actually under 560k. I would say this card, just off of his price alone and what his ability stack will be, sorry I'm stuttering and stammering so bad, but is going to absolutely be worth picking up. The only thing that could be a concern is 73 strength right there. If we go ahead and take a look at his block shed rating, it's going to be a 68, so it's not insane, but it is definitely serviceable for a cornerback. I would say Patrick Surtain for that price is going to be worth picking up. Now right here, this is going to be the best champion card that dropped all day, absolutely 100%, no doubt about it. It's going to be this Kyle Hamilton safety card right here. The reason why is that big thing right there that just says height. He is 6'4", which is absolutely insane, very comparable to that new Isaiah Simmons card that actually just dropped for the combine. But he's going to be coming in at 97 speed, 97 excel, 96 man coverage, 98 zone coverage, 96 hit power. And if we take a look at his ability bucket, his 0 AP bucket anyways, on the ball for 0, chuck out, tip drill, medium route KO, he's actually going to get for 1 AP, unfakeable for 0, outmatched, mid zone KO again for 1 AP, flat zone KO for 0, spin cycle, out my way, pick artist, jukebox, stonewall, goal line stuff, deflator, form tackler, and extra pop. Then the next ability bucket, again, it's going to be exactly the same right there, just another bucket. And then in these last 2 buckets right here, his discounted or custom buckets anyways, he gets pick artist for 0, mid zone for 1, acrobat for 1, and deflator for 1. So you could run a stack of pick artist for 0, mid zone KO for 1, and acrobat for 1. So it'd cost you 2 total AP, but you will be getting diving and SWAT knockouts, which is really good, especially if you can trigger that diving animation to maybe go and pick a ball off. And even if you don't, if you make contact with a receiver in that mid zone, you will actually get a knockout regardless. So that is very useful. That ability is also added on to I got in trouble because somebody in my comments yelled at me for calling Patrick Peterson DRC because I was just confused for a second, I guess, or I just misspoke. But on Patrick Peterson, his card actually gets Acrobat baked onto him, and it is a very good ability. So Kyle Hamilton, once we take a look at his price anyways, we'll make sure he's not ridiculously priced. Yeah, for 600k, I would say this guy is going to be absolutely worth it. In terms of all of the cards that dropped today, like I said, maybe except for like Jordan Mailata, since he's just going to be basically an endgame offensive lineman, I would say Kyle Hamilton is absolutely going to be worth it. Next, we've got Kevontae Turpin, the shortest player. He's not really the shortest player in the game, but he's damn close, if not tied for the shortest. He's going to be 5'9", 160 pounds, 97 speed, 91 jumping, 96 short route, or 95 route running stats across the board. Again, he's only going to have 48 strength. He is a very small guy right there. But for his ability buckets, he's going to get mid elite for 0, mid out elite, run off elite, bulldozer, slot apprentice, outside apprentice, arm bar, jukebox, spin cycle, backlash, matchup nightmare, grab and go, all for 0 AP. In his last 2 buckets, he's going to get return man for 0. If you don't know, he's one of the best returners in the game. Outside apprentice for 1, matchup nightmare for 1, and playmaker for 1. The only problem with playmaker not being that great of an ability is just because we already have a lot of the quarterback abilities, whether it's backyard, QB, or master tag, automatically have playmaker built in. So I mean, it doesn't really make him any better there. So Kevontae Turpin, even for his price, because if we back out, we can see his price below his card, 450k. I still don't even think he's worth having out there on your field, unless you're a diehard Cowboys theme teamer, then maybe. Next is going to be Jahmyr Gibbs, 97 speed, 96 excel, 97 agility, 92 carry, 96 change of direction, 87 truck, and 97 break tackle. 5'9", 199, so he's not a big back at all. I didn't mean it like that. I meant big running back. Jesus. He's not fat. He's less than 200 pounds. Whatever. Regardless, besides the point. For his 0 AP bucket, he's going to get running back apprentice, matchup nightmare, spin cycle, arm bar, goal line back, leapfrog, bulldozer, jukebox, grab and go, reach for it, and balance beam, all for 0 there. Same thing in this bucket, except it's going to add in human joystick there, which is pretty nice. Steamroller and backyard halfback right there. Then in his last buckets, he's going to get playmaker, which we just talked about with Kevontae Turpin. Is not really that much of a good ability. Evasive for 2, matchup nightmare for 0, and run off elite for 1. Honestly, this card, for what you can get in other running backs, like honestly the NFL honor Saquon Barkley is still, I mean, maybe around 250k, and he actually can get tank on him, which is probably the best running back ability in the game until they end up dropping Truz on running backs. So I would say Jahmyr Gibbs, even though he is cheaper, or on the cheaper side of these cards at less than 500k, I would say is not worth picking up. Down to our last 2 champs right here, we're going to have 97 overall Will Anderson Jr. coming in with 95 speed, 96 excel, 95 block shed, 89 power move, and 98 finesse move. 6'4", 243, so a good size on him anyways. For his 0 AP buckets, he's going to be getting secure tackler, unfakeable, reach elite, goal line stuff, out my way, strip specialist, Mr. Big Stop, adrenaline rush, run stopper, extra credit, no outsiders, speedster, instant rebate, unpredictable, demoralizer, interior threat for 1 AP there on him. Deflator for 0, crusher, extra pop, and form tackler. Then in this bucket right here, all it's really going to add is it's going to add in here, I believe he already had no outsiders, but if not, he added that in there. Enforcer right here for 0, inside stuff, double or nothing for 1 on him there. Secure tackler still for 0, unpredictable still for 0 there. And in his last 2 buckets, he's going to get discounted anyways for his custom buckets. El Toro for 1, El Toro for 1, edge threat for 1, no outsiders for 0, and run stopper for 1. Just like we talked about with the other pass rushers, guys, he's not going to be getting a starting on X factor or a charge up X factor for a defensive lineman, so he's just not going to be worth it with what we currently have in the game. And then looking at the last champion right here, it's going to be 97 overall Christian Gonzalez. Biggest problem on this card off the rip is he is 96 speed, and a lot of these cards really need to be 97 speed plus, especially to compete with some of these combine cards that dropped. But looking at him right now, 96 speed, 97 press, 6'2", which is really, really good size on him. And then if we look at his 0 AP buckets, he's going to get on the ball for 0, chuck out for 0, tip drill, medium route KO, unfakeable, outmatch, mid zone for 1, flat zone for 0, spin cycle, out my way, pick artist, jukebox, stonewall, extra pop, and form tackler all for 0. And then in this bucket, the next bucket that's basically a duplication bucket right here of 0 AP abilities, he's still going to have to pay 1 AP for mid zone. And then in these last 2 buckets, he's still going to have to pay 1 AP for mid zone, which is really unfortunate, but he'll get short route KO for 2, pick artist for 0, and medium route KO for 2, or medium route KO for 1, my apologies. And just because, honestly, they dropped a Patrick Surtain that'll actually get 0 AP mid-zone and pick artist in this promo currently, and the other cards that dropped, like a Byron Jones that would get that same stack, same thing with the other Combine DBs, maybe Jalen Ramsey might have to spend 1 AP on it, but Pat Pete also will get it for 0. I just think even for 470k, I think you might as well just spend the extra 100 to 200k coins just to get a better card in Pat Pete or Jalen Ramsey or any of the other cards like Byron Jones that dropped in the NFL Combine promo. So those are all the champions, and as always, all of these LTDs, the cheapest LTD is going to be 1.7 million coins. Not worth it. Not worth it. Don't go out and buy these LTDs, dude. Like 3 million coins for a Cooper DeJean card because they can't decide that they want to drop a regular champion card that everybody can get or build in a set. Absolutely not worth it. I will tell you guys that basically in every single video, even if these cards are completely souped up, absolutely not worth buying just because of how much coins you would have to spend on one card. Unless you're a pro player or a content creator, there's no point in spending that many coins on one player. Everybody will tell you that. But that has been all from Boy Dynamic, y'all. If you have any questions over any of these Team of the Year cards, let me know down in the comment section below. If you made it this far, dude, I'm sorry. I know your ears are bleeding because you just listened to a 26-minute yap sesh by me, and you had to look at my face, so I'm sorry for your eyes. But that has been all from Boy Dynamic, y'all. I'm out, man. Peace.